How you doing?
Fabulous. And it's going to be okay. Not that it's a bad thing when Dean's here, but we have
It's a
fun when he's
better
here
thing.
or not.
Shh. Shows usually go a little better.
It's
I
going to
wonder
be
if Dean's
fine. It's going to be
listening to
fine.
us.
No,
Of
I
course
bet not.
not. No, no, he's definitely not.
No, it's going to be a good day. Lots of great things to talk about. Still celebrating June is Dairy Month. I'm never going to let that go. In fact, I was strongly considering some ice cream this afternoon just because.
I had a glass of milk. Does that count?
Of course it does. I think that's
Hey, right
awesome.
on. You see, I'm celebrating too. So, yeah, we got a few fun things coming up on the show today. We'll be talking a little bit more about that. Dairy Month is the month of June. A couple other topics we'll
Mhm.
get to at some point throughout the show. Perhaps, maybe, probably, at least not next week. Minnesota farm safety camps for kids. Prairie Farms kicks off, and bull rack converted for competitive barbecue trailers. That'll be an interesting one to
Okay.
talk about. Of course, we always got the forecast, and our guest today at the 120 mark will be Tyler Melroe for South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation, Gala.
Yes.
So he'll be joining us at 120, and I'd imagine since we're talking South Dakota, is Jace somewhere in the woodworks in the background? I can't see. Is he sneaking in here, or
He's probably running down the hall right now to the studio to grab a pair of headphones so he can be on because somebody from South Dakota is going to join us.
yeah,
But
he
it's going to be
heard
a good
South
day.
Dakota and he said, "James, hold my beer. I'm on my way."
Absolutely. Oh, it's going to be a fun day. And I'm looking forward to talking about these farm safety camps in Minnesota because
Hmm.
I don't know if there's an age requirement, but I'm thinking about signing you up.
Sure, why not? That'd be fun. I needed to have the do's and don'ts of tractors now that I'm driving Jim's tractors for Here We Grow. By the way, episode 9 just launched this morning, and if you want to view that or follow our journey for the Here We Grow project where we're growing 20 acres of soybeans, that's all of ours first time actually farming. Bridges, your first time farming or have you done this before? I can't remember.
I don't know if I want to call this my first time farming, only because if you grow up a farm kid, you're always involved. If you have worked in ag, you worry about everybody else's ground, and you and I garden. So isn't that a little bit of what our farming is like too?
I think so, but it's the first time we've taken steps this large. I mean, we're going from a small little fenced in garden to 20 acres of prime real estate. And if you're watching the live stream, which we live stream every day on Facebook and YouTube Live, just search Weather and Ag in Focus. You can see some of the video of the Here We Grow project on the screen right now. And it's kind of a little tease of what this week's episode is all about. It's a little bit about weed control, some resources you can utilize for farming from NDSU, and of course, an update on our crop after it's been planted. And it looks like it's doing great.
I think so. And you know what? I'm thinking I'm going to take you to the field next week and we're going to take an
Mm.
in-depth look at what do we got for moisture because it's been spotty showers all around the neighborhood. Our field might be ready for another shot of rainfall, but what's the chance that that's going to happen, Justin? What's it looking like for the weekend?
It's so sparse, hit or miss on tonight, and then even in Saturday, it's favoring east of the river. Not to say we can't get a couple of showers here within the valley, but just about all of this is going to be in Minnesota with some scattered showers and some storms throughout the afternoon towards evening. There'll be a little leftover remnant stuff from tonight into tomorrow morning. So why don't we run down that forecast real quick? What we're looking at conditions right now, we're in the mid 70s. It's 75 degrees outside. East winds at 8 miles an hour. I'm actually seeing some blue out there versus milky white and reds from the sun bleeding through all of the Canadian wildfire smoke. And we've shaken that. We actually got blue skies, so that's nice. There will be, however, some haze left over around the area for today, and that will unfortunately bleed into the weekend. But I'm not expecting it to be anything like it was a couple of days ago. Not to say that we can't mix a little bit of that down to the surface later today or tomorrow, but I don't think it's going to be that bad. We're on our way to highs in the lower 80s today. It's mainly sunny to hazy sunny skies. And there are some scattered showers out west of the valley. Those are staying there for this afternoon. We could see a few of them inch closer to the FM area this evening. I think all of it's going to hold off until after dark and really mainly after midnight as we get a little cluster of showers to push through the valley. Most of us just going to be recording a few pennies worth of rain up to about a quarter inch, but a couple healthier showers could deliver a little bit more than that, around a half inch or maybe even more than that in a couple of localized areas. And then for Saturday, a nice day. It's just going to be a little cooler and more cloud cover. Still a little haze. We'll call it partly to mostly cloudy tomorrow, upper 70s, pop-up showers and storms mid-late afternoon and evening, mainly over in Minnesota on Saturday. And then for Father's Day, man, it's looking like a beautiful day. I don't think we're going to see any rain. It will be partly cloudy and mid-80s, light wind. I don't think it gets much better than that for most people. A little warm for my blood, but if you think that's warm, you don't even want
Don't
to
tell
look
me.
into next week.
No, I don't actually want into next week if
No.
that's the kind of thing you're going to saddle me with. No, 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 that's
Yeah,
not nice.
yeah. Do you like blast furnaces?
No, and I would ask Michael in control if he could pop up the video I sent him about my garden. Look at that. I
Oh,
want you to see that on the live stream. It
we
looks
need a
really good.
garden wars update.
Yeah, I don't need you and your blast furnace type business. What I need is some nice gentle showers, Justin. That's what I really need from you. Thank you.
Yeah, well, don't bank on much. You might get lucky tonight into Saturday morning, but I wouldn't bank on it. But a few of us will be doing all right. As
Okay,
for the video for the live stream, you have an iPhone, don't you?
I do.
Yeah, I don't think iPhones and Windows like to share very well, so it might take
Ah,
them a moment on the technical end, if it's possible,
okay,
to
that's no
convert that
problem.
to a Windows format. But we'll see. They might be able to get it done. If anyone can, it would be him. But yeah, we need a Garden
Yes.
Wars update. So how your
Okay, so
garden's
are
doing
you
well?
I think so. Are you all planted? Because I put in my second round of beans and second round of lettuce and spinach and radishes. How about yourself?
I just planted my second round of beans and peas.
Ooh, fabulous.
And I had my second round of corn growing the week or 10 days before that, about almost 2 weeks before that one. So I got 2 rounds of corn, 2 rounds of beans, 2 rounds of peas. I got all my tomatoes, three different variety. And then I have a couple different variety of bell peppers, a jalapeno, squash, and cucumbers.
Now, I will tell you, I have noticed flea beetles. They are very
Mhm.
prevalent in canola crops right now, but they seem to be drifting further south into my neighborhood. And there were flea beetles out on the radishes, the broccoli, and the cauliflower. They got a dose of help
Now there's your
in order
video.
to eliminate that pest. Yeah, there's the video.
Oh
And
wow,
so
look at
I
that. Your
eliminated
garden
those
looks
pests.
great.
We got a lot going on in there. And
Man,
then
you really took
there's
the
pictures of
critiques from
yours.
last year to heart. Your
And
garden
then
looks
we've got
way
pictures
better.
of
Well,
yours.
there. I got pictures of mine. I sent those, and we'll pull those up here in just a minute. There's mine. It's
There they
it's
are.
so much. It's so pathetic compared to your garden, but hey, it's something, and it's doing really well.
I think yours is doing great. And this is your first year at your location. So it's a
Hmm.
wonderful way to kick off your backyard is planting your
You
garden.
see, it's what do they call it? A rebuilding year for me.
That's right.
Because that
Yep. Got to
that's the
bring it
first
back.
year that gardens existed, and we put it in pretty quick. So next year we'll have a real competition. But I think you got me beat this year, just based on yeah, you got me beat for sure.
Well, for
It looks
those who
great
are
though.
listening and if you have questions, you feel free to give us a ring on the Red Wing Shoes hotline. That is 701-293-9000. I bet Justin is wearing his Red Wing boots from our Here We Grow project in his
Hmm.
garden when he's out there tilling and toiling of the soil. And
Yep.
so just make sure that if you need work boots, you give Teresa a call and her crew at Red Wing on Main Avenue in Fargo. They do a fabulous job. I'm really happy with mine. And again, keep calling with questions. There'll be more, especially as our guest joins us today.
Yeah, definitely will. And if you want to send pictures of your garden, proud of it, send us some pictures. Tell me what you got in there. Weather or ag at flagfamily.com, or you can always call in again, 701-293 9000 for that Red Wing Shoes phone line. And if you want, we can throw some of your photos up on the stream in our back end of the show in the 150 hour. We'll kind of recap the Garden Wars, forecast again some ag topics, because we got to get our guest all ready to go. So we're going to take a few moments, get all that squared away. Again, program number 701-293-9000, email weather@flagfamily.com or ag@flagfamily.com. And our guest when we return is Tyler Melroe from South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation Gala. We'll be back with him in just a moment.
You're invited to worship with us at Olivet Lutheran Church in Fargo. We offer a 9 a.m. Sunday traditional service with communion where all are welcome to participate. If you can't worship with us in person, you can always watch live or later on our YouTube channel. Following worship, we have time for fellowship with coffee and donuts and light service projects like packing up food for our food pantry. For more information, go to olivet.org. Encounter Jesus, experience grace at Olivet Lutheran Church on the corner of 13th Avenue and South University Drive, Fargo.
Happy Days are here again. Welcome to Happy Days, June 15th through the 18th in Lisbon, North Dakota. From your friends at Riverside Building Center. They are Southeastern North Dakota's premier dealer for all of your building supply requirements from the basics to home improvement and complete pre-build homes. Also stop in for do-it-best hardware store needs. Enjoy Happy Days from Riverside Building Center, located at 1015 South Main, your local building supply headquarters in Lisbon. Happy Days are happening in Lisbon on June 15th through the 18th. Your friends Andy and Clint at Devitt Plumbing invite you to enjoy all the fun activities and events for the entire family at Happy Days. Devitt Plumbing is proud to be a part of the Lisbon community and serving the area for over 40 years. Contact Andy and Clint for installation, remodeling, and service. Have fun at Happy Days from Devitt Plumbing. Hey Jace, I have a great idea.
What?
On Friday, June 23rd, we're going to go to the longest open house and we're going to jazzercise from 9 to 10.
No, you can't be serious.
I definitely am, and just to incentivize you, we're going to have Jersey Mike subs afterwards.
You know, you should have led with that. That's the longest open house, 64-hour, record-breaking event raising funds for a cure to Alzheimer's.
That sounds like a great idea, Jace. We're inviting you to join us Friday, June 23rd with the Coffee Club from 8:30 to 11 a.m. for the longest open house.
It's summer in a big way. So go big at Mall of America. Your summer adventure is on with the stay at Radisson Blu Mall of America, conveniently connected to the mall. Swim a little, spa a little, shop up to 500 stores, enjoy every kind of dining, and so much more. Nickelodeon Universe has live Paw Patrol shows. Then get creative with the youngest ones at Crayola Experience. So you can go big just by going to Mall of America. mallofamerica.com/summer.
Welcome to Felton Days, June 16th and 17th from your friends at Felton Country Store. Stop in and check out their newly remodeled store. Felton Country Store is your one-stop for gas, snacks, groceries, or grab a treat or something good to eat from the deli. Check out the gift shop too, open 7 days a week. Stop in to say hi. Felton Country Store located at 102 7th Street in Felton, Minnesota.
Hey, it's Big Game James McCarty and Jace Dedman, and we'll be live at the Timber Creek Block Party and Car Show between Sweet Shots and Kingpins on June 20th.
Pick up your Timber Creek Block Party passport at any Timber Creek business anytime between now and June 20th so you can be registered for great prizes at the Block Party. We will be there live during the Jay Thomas Show and live with Primetime Sports.
So come for classic cars, live music, great food, and a chance to win prizes on June 20th. Details at sweetshots.com or check out their social media pages.
Your friends at Fevig Oil and Propane would like to welcome you to Felton Field Days, June 16th and 17th. Enjoy the family fun and events both days in Felton, Minnesota. Fevig Oil and Propane, proudly serving the area for over 60-plus years. Fevig Oil, a name you've grown to trust with your propane, furnace, farm fuels, and lubricants for many years. They appreciate your business and friendship and look forward to working with you again soon. Fevig Oil and Propane, online at fevigoil.com.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
And welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette, Readel, Ag Director, along with meteorology wizard Justin Storm. And for those of you who are watching on the live stream, you're going to get this a little more than those on audio. just so you know, a cowboy hat does not fit over your headphone gear. That's not really working for me. And I wanted to do
Cowboy hat
this
looks great.
because, oh, thanks. It makes me like a 10-gallon hat, so I must now be like at least 5'5", right? This works?
I think so. I think we'll let it fly.
Okay.
But instead of 5'5",
Oh.
I think we should probably go with just 4'17". How about that?
Thanks. I appreciate you doing the math for me as always. That's why we have you here. And that's why we have our guest here today, and that is Tyler Melroe. Tyler is a livestock nutritionalist in South Dakota, but he's also part of the South Dakota, whoopsie, hat's gone, Cattlemen's Foundation. And Tyler is going to join us today to talk all about their upcoming fundraiser, but also, Tyler, what's an animal nutritionist? I mean, Justin and I always talk about our diets. I don't think that's the same thing, though.
Yeah, when I talk about working on cattle diets, my wife, she doesn't ever think that any of that applies to what we eat. And so when it comes to supper time, like I have no expertise. But yeah, I guess that's my job, is to figure out what cattle are supposed to eat and use the resources that people have and grow at home and complement them with what we need to buy and try to put together and raise the lowest cost, most nutritional, delicious beef that we possibly can.
I see. So what's that diet look like then? Is it different than what most people are doing? Is there something very specific to it that you get that outcome from, or what's this diet?
Well, there is some unique ingredients. I mean, when we talk about you talk about being right there in the Red River Valley, one thing that's unique to there are byproducts from things like the beet processing. Okay, so like beet pulp is a common ingredient. I had a call today from somebody in Virginia, a customer out there. They feed some peanuts, and so it's all about working with the resources that we have. Of course, in the Dakotas, corn is our foundation, right? And so things like corn grain, corn silage, corn distillers grains, those kind of things are the very typical ingredients we have. But again, it's also about finding opportunities. I mean, cattle as ruminant animals are amazing creatures that can really take something that has no value anywhere else and convert it into something. Again, I can't imagine converting it into something more amazing than a ribeye steak.
Right. So are you working in more or less one area, one region, or are you more across the United States? What's your reach in your operation?
So I work for a company called Hubbard Feeds, and we mostly are in the upper Midwest here. We do have, again, obviously some dealers all the way out to the East Coast that we work with. I primarily focused on the Dakotas and parts of Montana. That's where my work did and work focuses. But again, sometimes we get calls from customers that are a little far away to get everyday service from some of our nutrition team. And so we get some neat opportunities to work with some different things as well.
Cool. Bridgette,
So
sorry, I
I've got
got one more. Sorry,
Okay,
Bridgette.
that's
I
great.
just wanted to know,
Don't go ahead.
do these diets differ based on where the cattle are located at, say East Coast, West Coast, North or South? Is there any difference in it?
In general, a cow is a cow is a cow. And so for the most part, what a cow needs is not going to be different. However, the weather plays a big role, right? I mean, even if you look at the Dakotas from east to west, the differences in weather in the winter can impact how aggressively you need to feed them in order to maintain their condition and those sort of things. So certainly environment does play a big role in what they're going to consume. Now, their needs generally basically are the same. They basically can make the same ingredient work no matter where they are. It's just what ingredients are where, and again, what's that environment and how is that going to impact how much that cow needs to eat.
Okay.
So, Tyler, we've been bombarding you with nutrition questions because I'm sure it's going to be a little bit later as we get to talking about the South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation Gala that's up and coming. But first of all, if you're not aware, here at WDAY, we are custom farming 20 acres of soybeans. And our soybean crop, once it's produced, could potentially be feed for cattle. And is that something you normally put into a ration for any of your growers, producers?
Yeah, there's several byproducts from the soybean plant and processing operation. First off, after you harvest the grain, some people might bale up the straw. They could grind that and use that in a feed ration, or at least use it maybe as a bedding source for animals to lay on in the wintertime to help and stay warm. The most popular byproduct of producing soybean oil would be soybean meal. And so soybean meal is probably a more popular ingredient in diets for things like swine. But again, it is not uncommon to use soybean meal in beef cattle diets as a source of protein as well. And then also the hulls of the soybean. Hulls of the soybean are a fiber source that we use to make pellets and those sort of things. And so the soybean plant is pretty useful from A to Z for the animals, not to mention the oil that's produced for whatever other function that might be.
Absolutely. There's so many extreme uses for soybeans from our region and all of the crush plants that are online currently in South Dakota, and we have 3 more joining us in North Dakota. We've got places to take this product too. So once our soybeans are harvested and we're going to take our profits to the Great Plains Food Bank, maybe they'll be able to buy some very tasty beef that's been raised locally to be able to share through the food bank. And that's probably leads us a little bit into what your other project is. And we've got a couple of moments here, Tyler. Tell us a little bit about the South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation. What's your involvement with them before we even get to talking about the gala?
Right. So again, this gala this year will be our 10th annual, and so this board was started a little over 10 years ago as a group of kind of like-minded individuals, producers, people involved in the beef industry that wanted to do something a little bit more. We recognize that the people in this industry are so generous. Even in the tough times, they're so willing to give of themselves, particularly when they see a calling that's this important. And so when we started the board, we started the foundation again 10 years ago. The objective was we were going to raise money and give that money to Feeding South Dakota. And specifically, those dollars were going to go to purchasing beef. Protein is one of the things that when we visited with the food banks that they were in the most desperate need of. And people who are getting opportunity to utilize the food banks, again, they often ask for beef. And it's something that we know can be expensive, but people are so appreciative of it. We think it's so important for kids that they have this high quality source of nutrition and protein in their diets. Again, we don't want them consuming just the processed carbohydrates that may show up on the shelves there. And so it's been a fantastic opportunity, and we've had a world-class partner in Feeding South Dakota on getting this accomplished.
There's so many cool things to talk about here because we bring up stories all the time about local beef being brought into the school systems. And here's yet another way that we're seeing that happen. So folks, it is 1:30, bottom of the hour. We are going to return with Tyler Melroe. He is with the South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation. We're going to continue this discussion and their very exciting upcoming fundraiser. And I would tell you, you're going to want to pay attention because let's just say here's a clue. You don't want to just be looking for the cheap seats. So keep that in mind as we talk after this.
Hey, it's Chief Meteorologist Dean Wysocki. Join me, Justin Storm, and Ag Director Bridgette Readel throughout the summer as we attempt to grow a crop of soybeans. We're calling it Here We Grow, and we'll be documenting what it takes to farm in the Red River Valley and beyond. Look for new videos every Friday on WDAYRadioNow.com, our YouTube channel, and social media pages. Here We Grow is brought to you in part by Titan Machinery, AB Seeds, and Vita, and WDAY Radio.
If your furnace and air conditioner are over 10 years old, it's possible they've gone to the dogs. They're more prone to roll over and break down, and they're also a lot less efficient. Let Laney's help you fetch a free air conditioner with their 2-for deal. For a limited time, when you purchase a qualifying Coleman high-efficiency furnace, you'll receive a Coleman air conditioning unit absolutely free. Hurry and call Laney's for details. The dog days of summer will be here before you know it.
828 is just great.
Hi, this is Christy from the Hot Tub Store. Melt away your stress in a Caldera spa. A daily hot tub ritual can help you feel calm no matter what life throws your way. Stop into our showroom and see how we can improve your wellness. Financing is available. The Hot Tub Store, located just south of Costco. Check out our website, thehottubstoreND.com. That's thehottubstoreND.com.
The Hot Tub Store, 815 23rd Avenue East in West Fargo, right across from Costco. The Hot Tub Store.
Boost your crop's health with Domark 230 ME and Badge SC fungicide exclusively from Gowan, USA. Domark's systematic action teams up with Badge's outstanding mixing properties for unbeaten disease control on sugar beets, dried edible beans, and canola. Experience the power of 2 different modes of action with Domark and Badge. Don't wait. Contact your local ag retailer and ask about Domark 230 ME and Badge SC. Always read and follow label directions from Gowan, USA.
Family fun is calling you to Chihinkapa Zoo.
It's lions and tigers and bears, oh my. And did I mention rhinos, cheetahs, and zebras? The Chihinkapa Zoo is now open for the 2023 season. The exhibits, all the attractions are waiting for your family or group. So many reasons to visit the Chihinkapa Zoo this summer. It all starts at the website, chihinkapazoo.org.
Fun is calling you to Chihinkapa Zoo.
The Chihinkapa Zoo.
If you're hiring, it can feel like you're trying to find a needle in a haystack. You can hope the right person comes along, or you can just use ZipRecruiter. And now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. In fact, ZipRecruiter has helped a lot of business owners find their needle in a haystack, like Marco, president of operations at Telly Tires and Auto Centers. Because Telly Tires has grown a lot in the last few years, Marco needed to hire everyone from a receptionist to a store manager to a head mechanic.
ZipRecruiter helps me find all the right people, even the most difficult jobs to fill. ZipRecruiter helps me keep my business running.
Take it from Marco and millions of other businesses who've used ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter can help you find the needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free. At ZipRecruiter.com/free. That's ZipRecruiter.com/FREE. ZipRecruiter.com/free. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Hold up, you're using Swiffer Power Mop? What would Mom say?
Oh, she'd be like, a mopping bucket is the only way to deep clean your floors. And I'd be like, Mom, this is the new Swiffer Power Mop, the all-in-one that gets you a mop and bucket clean in half the time.
She'd never believe you.
I'd say, look, the solution's built right in, so no heavy bucket. And the pad has hundreds of scrubbing strips to get into grout lines. That's why you're the smart one.
Really?
What? Mom said it.
The new Swiffer Power Mop. Don't mop harder, mop smarter.
And welcome back to WDAY Weather and Ag in Focus. I'm Bridgette Readel, Ag Director, along with the weather wizard, Justin Storm. Oh, you're not at the board today to hit your thunder and lightning.
There we go.
Thanks for filling in. Appreciate that. So we have our guest today, which is our guest is Tyler Melroe. He is with the South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation. And I just want to make sure I can slide this in. Hey, Tyler, just in case you were wondering what my office looks like, that NDSU stuff back there looks great, right?
Hey, you got to remember, I was born and raised in North Dakota, and I spent the first 18 years of my life there. So there was a university to the south, though, that kind of attracted me away. So I've been in South Dakota longer than North Dakota, so I'm officially a South Dakotan now, but it took a few years to do it.
I'll let that slide right on by, but it's okay. So one of the things we were talking about,
we could get into more detail on that, Bridgette. We really could, but I know you don't want to.
The chances are that we will, and I'm not afraid of it. One of our sports guy, Jace, is down the hall. He's from Willow Lake, South Dakota, and at this point, he is doing everything he can to hold back from jumping into this conversation. But he went to USD, so it's fine. We don't have to talk about it. So we've been leading up to this, the Prime Time Gala. Tell us all about it.
So this year's event is going to be Saturday, June 24th, 1 week from tomorrow. We hold this annually at the Sioux Falls Convention Center and the Denny Sanford Premier Center. We talked about earlier that our primary fundraising is to raise dollars to go to Feeding South Dakota to purchase beef. In fact, over the first 10 years, we have raised just shy of $2.1 million. And with Feeding South Dakota, have distributed over 1.3 million pounds of beef. And so while that's our primary fundraising that we do raise money for other events. Actually, a part that I'm really involved with in our organization is our education committee. We give $15,000 annually in scholarships to youth that are involved and interested in and following a career path in the beef industry. And we also have a program that's really unique called the Fed Cattle Challenge. And what our objective there with the Fed Cattle Challenge is that we work with both individuals and FFA chapters, 4-H clubs, to participate in owning a pen of cattle. We provide a curriculum where they learn all about feeding and finishing cattle, along with understanding some of the highs and lows of ownership in finishing in the finishing cattle world. And so that's been a really, really neat project. They present what they learned in the end, and then again we give some awards there as well.
Cool. Can you tell me a little bit about the order of events and what the public is invited to go out and attend, or what's that look like?
Yeah, absolutely. Again, like I said before, it'll be next Saturday, June 24th. Our gala is our main event. That starts at approximately 4 o'clock in the afternoon with some social, and then we get going on that event. That event, unfortunately, is sold out, and we'll talk in a second here. There is ways people can still participate there. But again, one thing that might be really intriguing to your listeners, it's not a bad drive down I-29 to Sioux Falls. To highlight our event this year, we're going to have Alabama. And so Alabama is going to be opened up by Drew Green. And that will start, I think, at approximately 8 p.m. that evening. And so it's going to be a really, really fun evening. If you are an Alabama fan, if you want to come to the concert, there's tickets available, and all the proceeds from the concert go to the foundation's efforts here. It's going to go to Feeding South Dakota and our education and the things that we're working on there.
Where are the tickets available at? Where can someone go to find those tickets? Is it your website, Ticketmaster, something like that?
Right. So I would recommend that if they're interested in that they do go to Ticketmaster. Ticketmaster, they'll be available on there. Again, that's going to be at the Sanford Premier Center down there in Sioux Falls.
Okay, great.
So I love the fact that y'all are raising these funds to feed people. Same thing that we're doing with our Here We Grow project on a slightly smaller scale. We won't be playing any mountain music in the field, but we're all going to be accounted for as angels among us. That's at least 3 Alabama references, boys. Keep up. So, okay, so you've got the banquet, you've got the concert. There's something about a truck. What's that?
So we do have every year Billion Chevrolet in Sioux Falls has donated us a vehicle. We have 1,000 tickets available that we sell, and those tickets are $100 a piece. And we will draw that evening for the winner of a brand new full-size Chevy pickup. It's been a really generous donation, obviously a tremendous asset to our fundraising that we do. And again, this year, we did our social media kind of highlighting it here just a couple weeks ago. The truck's not even there yet. It's going to get here, I believe, this week. It is going to be a brand new 2024 Chevy full-size pickup. So it's a really, really cool deal. I would say if people are interested in some of those things, we have a couple things going on. We either visit us on social media. If you're a Facebook user, it's South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation. The other thing is we have a website, primetimegalaauction.com, and that's that website actually highlights some of the other things we have going on. So there's some other large items. We have 2 different companies have donated stock trailers to us that we auction off that evening. There's a gator, art, Western art, and smaller scale items too, gift baskets and those sort of things. I think there's about 100 items on there that we'll be auctioning that evening, and those are things. It's all online. All the auctioning for the silent auction, what we call it, is online. The larger scale items will be bid off that evening in an auction. in that style. So visit primetimegalaauction.com if you have any interest in supporting it. That would be a fantastic way to do it as well.
Cool. Bridgette, we might have to make a little road trip down to Sioux Falls.
So, Justin, if you win this pickup, do you know how good you are going to look driving a 2023 Chevrolet Silverado 2500 Duramax Crew Cab 4-wheel drive LT from Billion Chevrolet? That's a 3/4
You
ton,
want to know what,
bigger than what I currently drive, a lot bigger than what you currently drive.
you want to know what the first thing I'd do with it too?
Haul
I'd
your
back
garden
it up
around?
next to my garden in my backyard and unload a little square box of Miracle Grow.
I think that's
And like
perfect.
Tyler
But
was
you know
saying, it's
what?
not too bad of a drive as long as it's not the winter.
Well, and Tyler works with
That's
cows. I
a
bet you
fact.
wouldn't need Miracle Grow. He could find you something a little more organic to put on that garden if you'd like.
Why not? Why not?
Absolutely.
Well,
Absolutely. Your
Tyler, you had
soybeans have
already.
byproducts, and so do our cows.
Hey,
Yeah.
perfect. You mentioned this before, and I just want you to reiterate this first part of the question. But again, how much money have you raised in the past for this event? And then the second part to this question is, how impactful is this night for both South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation and Feeding South Dakota?
Yeah, I guess, again, just to address your first question there, through our first 10 years, we are just shy of $2.1 million that we've raised. And again, our hats off, Bridgette, your hat off to all of our wonderful sponsors that sponsor this event. It's the people of our cattle industry that make this go. It's the producers that show up that night. If you think over the last 10 years, there's been really good years in the cattle business, and there's been really tough years in the cattle business. And one thing we always walk away from, and you talk about what the impact of it is. There is nothing we walk away from that evening recognizing more than the generosity of the people in our industry, in the cattle industry. It will blow you away again if you ever get a chance to be there in person. We know you'd have a great time because it is a really important evening, obviously, to our foundation, but it's an important evening to all 2,000 people that'll be there. And again, it's a chance to connect with friends, but it's also a chance to give back.
That's awesome.
It's huge.
So how can people support you and this mission if they can't attend the concert or say the social, the get together, the raffles, the
Mhm.
auctions?
Yep. I would say just keep an eye out. Follow us on social media. Share it with your friends. If you can't participate in some way this year, maybe one of your friends can. Again, so if you're on Facebook, South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation, be sure to follow us and share that information. And again, if you are interested, that primetime GalaAuction.com is a great place to look. There's a lot of items on there. I saw they had it up for those of you watching the live stream on the screen there. And so, there are a lot of items at all price levels for people to participate. One thing unique this year is we've been giving a matching funds challenge from a bank in around Sioux Falls. And our goal there is to raise $50,000 additional dollars to what we normally do. And that's going to go to help starting a new scholarship we work with called Build South Dakota. And also working with, again, that wonderful university in Brookings, South Dakota State, to fund some undergraduate research projects. And so we got a lot of moving parts, a lot of things going on, and a lot of ways people can participate.
Cool.
And that's fun. There's something for everybody who's involved. And by the way, this might be a little bit of a curveball, but in our last couple of moments, Tyler, we happened to have some gals on with aghire.com earlier this week, and they talked about the need for employees. And as a representative of your company, do you do internships? I know you're working very hard on scholarships, but do you do internships and so forth for students? And as a nutritionalist, what would you encourage kids to do to maybe get more involved in the livestock industry?
Right. I think, I guess to answer your second question first there, to how do we get involved? I just think back to myself. I mean, I grew up involved in things like 4-H in particular. I grew up on a farm and ranch, so I had that. But not all kids that are interested in what we do are growing up on a farm and ranch. And so, luckily, even if you live in Fargo, you don't live too far from a rural area. Making connections and meeting people in the industry, I think, is really, really important. And that kind of relates to your second point about, internships are a great way to do that. Not only are we Hubbard Feeds, but we have a large dealer network. And so a lot of times our dealers are looking for summer help where we can work on nutrition projects and those sort of things, working with customers, monitoring mineral intakes, creep feed intakes, and learning the ropes about what's involved in our industry. And so a lot of opportunities to get involved there. We're always looking for good talent, just like your interview earlier this week suggested.
That is fantastic. And so just a great big shout out and thank you to Tyler Melroe for being our guest today, working with us to bring information on South Dakota Cattlemen's Foundation, but also just highlighting some things going on in the livestock industry. So thank you very much, Tyler.
Yeah, thank you, Tyler.
Thank you, Bridgette and Justin. Thank you.
Folks, we're going to catch up with the American Ag Network next. Get a check of those markets. We'll come back with ag headlines and weather.
They'll have you laughing right along with them. They're Bonnie and Friends.
You're going to complain about my 7-layer bars?
Uh-oh. I look at it and I see it looks like ground beef and cheese to me.
Ty, you're going to be getting married here. Rule number 1, when a woman cooks for you or she brings something to you, never, ever complain. And believe me, they remember.
Yes, we do.
Bonnie and Friends. Catch them weekday mornings beginning at 5.
What do eyewear and weather have in common? Join us for the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast to find out. Each Tuesday morning, Dean Wysocki, Justin Storm, and myself, Ashley Freeborn, owner of Aspire Optical, will bring you the 7-day forecast.
You never know where we'll be or how it will be presented, but we promise to bring you the most accurate forecast this side of the Red River.
And learn how you can save big on eyewear from Aspire Optical.
Watch the Aspire Optical Eye on the Sky weekly weather forecast on our Facebook, YouTube, and Twitter pages.
Trust us, this is weather and eyewear like you've never seen.
Kinder Care in West Fargo is hiring. Kinder Care could be your happy place. What a great atmosphere, just like home. They're in search of an assistant resident care manager. $25 per hour starting, yearly bonus. Shift is 3 to 11 p.m., paid vacation, paid sick time, paid holidays, and you must be licensed to distribute medication in North Dakota. Go to kindercarefargo.com to apply. kindercarefargo.com to apply for the assistant resident care manager position open now at Kinder Care, your happy place, West Fargo.
Need a tow? There's just one name you need to know. Aggressive Towing and Recovery. Our team is on call 24/7. We can be on the scene of a breakdown, accident, or to your home in minutes. At Aggressive, we offer light, medium, and heavy-duty towing, roadside assistance, and equipment hauling, as well as emergency roadside assistance like winch outs, lockouts, jump starts, tire changes, and more. Call anytime, 218-287-2344, online at aggressivetow.com.
Let the Goose River Bank become your community bank. They believe a strong bank builds strong communities and would be proud to be your bank.
The grain market rally continues. You're listening to the American Ag Network. Jesse Allen with this market update. We're joined now by Arlen Suderman of StoneX. Arlen, we have no shortage of things we could talk about here in this ag market trade today. As we head into the 3-day holiday weekend, it just continues to be up and away here in this weather market rally. Let's just start there. 2 days in a row now of sharp gains here in the grains and oil seeds. And what are your thoughts with this rally across the board in the grains here on Friday?
Well, I think, first of all, we need to recognize that much of this rally to this point has been short covering of fund managers unwinding short positions. We did see open interest start to go up in corn yesterday. Other than that, soybeans and wheat, open interest has been continuing to decline. In order to really have confidence in a bull market, you need to have growing open interest, meaning that the speculative funds are putting on new long positions. So we're heading into a holiday weekend now. Some of the traders who may have been fortunate enough to have gone long in this market at the bottom may be nervous about carrying those profits through the weekend, leaving them in the market, and may want to get out of those positions. But bottom line, though, it's going to come into what are the weather models saying as we come into Monday and the reopen of the markets on Monday night. But we are seeing that strength hold for now. We're getting additional strength in soybeans from reports of a tugboat pilot strike in Argentina, making it difficult for boats to dock and to load up with soy meal and soy oil there, providing additional support.
We appreciate the analysis. That's Arlen Suderman of StoneX. We see the cattle market showing some triple-digit strength at midday with hogs mixed. Crude oil up 47 cents a barrel, 71.09. This is the American Ag Network. I'm Jesse Allen.
Welcome back to Weather and Ag in Focus 152. Right now on this finally Friday afternoon, 75 degrees outside and wind staying light out of the east at 8 miles an hour. But there is, unfortunately, windier, hotter, and more humid conditions on the way for next week. The weekend's not looking too bad. Some scattered showers over in Minnesota. But as we head into Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday of next week, that humidity starts to creep up a little bit. The winds switch out of the south about 10 to 25, gusting to 30, 35 miles an hour. And we're going to have temperatures in the mid 90s, if not potentially a few upper 90s. So it's going to start to get a little hot out there. And I like to refer to it kind of like a blast furnace because you can't cool down. It's a lot of sunshine. It's 95 degrees. The dew points are in the 60s, and we're blowing dirt and sand around.
Let's not be blowing any dirt around. I'm not loving a lot of what you just said. Thanks. But
yeah, so tell me, how do crops handle that when we start getting temperatures up in the mid-upper 90s, lots of sunshine, blowing dirt, sand, salt, and the humidity levels are up? What concerns do people think about in those conditions?
Now, it's just like heat and humidity soaks moisture out of you or I. That can happen to plants too. Kind of withers you up. And you'll see plants, especially you see it in corn, they'll try to roll up their leaves to protect themselves during the heat of the day and unfurl at night when there's cooler air present. Now, a concern we could have is if we start to turn into a weather pattern that would look damp and hold a lot of humidity. And if our soybeans were up, say, knee high or so, and they have a lot of bushy foliage with their leaves, then they're going to withhold that dampness within the crop canopy. That can lead to disease. Thankfully, one of our Here We Grow sponsors is Gowan Company, and they are providing us with fungicide in Vita in order to make sure that we don't have a problem if a situation like that should arise. So, I'm sorry, Affiance is the name of their fungicide, not Invita. It's Affiance. And so that's got 2 modes of action, particularly for white mold in soybeans. And that's a 10 to 14 ounce rate that we would apply.
Hey, right on. It's a good thing we got that covered. And I know a lot of people are banking on rain. And although a chance for showers overnight tonight, some spotty stuff here or there in the valley, mainly over in Minnesota with scattered showers and some pop-up storms, I wouldn't bank a whole lot on the amount of rain you're going to get from that. Throughout the southern valley up to about Hillsboro, we'll see a little cluster of showers push through. For most of us, it's a 1/4 inch or less. A couple people might get lucky with a little over a 1/2 inch, but not many of us will see that 1/2 inch or more. And even on Saturday, I don't think we're really going to see much of anything here in the valley, especially westward. Minnesota could pick up some spots over a 1/2 inch of rain pretty easily with some of those slower moving storms. It's not till the middle and end of next week that we get our best chances that I think we've seen for quite a while for some good soaking rains. And I'm talking a 1 to 3 inch range of moisture, which would be really beneficial. Of course, that's not all in one day. That's from about Wednesday to Saturday is what it looks like right now, with several rounds of showers and some storms. And a couple storms could even be strong to severe. So it's something we'll keep an eye on. It's just too far out to really pinpoint exact details on what's going to happen. But that's what signs are pointing at right now, is some much needed, wider spread, heavier rains for most of the Dakotas and into Minnesota.
Sure. And that heavier weather, it's that time of the year where we start to, I don't want to say expect it, but we just realize it's not that uncommon.
Hmm.
Now,
Yeah.
when you said some of those heavy showers into Minnesota, let's hope they don't happen. The week of July, let's see, this is going to be over at Norman County at the fairgrounds at Ada, July 19th to the 20th. That's when University of Minnesota is hosting their youth tractor and farm safety training. So this is a hybrid course. You have 8 hours online first that you have to do before you can attend the in-person 2-day course. And the objectives of that are safe tractor operation, instruction in a good environment. If you are 14 or 15 years old, and according to the U.S. Department of Labor, you need a certificate having completed this program to be eligible to work as a farm employee. And so this is one way to get working on your part-time job criteria and credentials, and you could attend this camp. And so, Justin, if you'd like, I'll sign you right up, send you on over to farm camp in Minnesota.
You know, I'm all about it, but I'm not about the temperatures I'm looking at right now.
Eek. Hopefully you're in an air-conditioned cab, not open
yeah.
station.
Latest European model has just rolled out. I'm just kind of taking a look at it now in between conversations, but it's indicating mid-90s for Monday.
Oof.
And 80s
Okay.
in Minnesota, and then mid to upper 90s in the valley on Tuesday, and low 90s in Minnesota. And as we head into Wednesday, it still looks like we're flirting right around 90 degrees. So we're going to get 3 hot days, and especially Monday and especially Tuesday, those windy conditions. I think Tuesday is going to be the windiest day, gusts to 35. But yeah, I'm just...
That's like
That's
a
just
blast
hot,
furnace
man.
in a field.
That's what I'm
I mean,
saying.
that's
Here, let me
not awesome.
let me
And
just share this
ugh.
free. I got to keep track of the time because I know we're about to blow over. But let's see. Yeah,
Literally,
take a
you're
look at
talking about
that.
wind, and you just said blow over. Nice.
So here's the latest computer model guidance from the European. This is Monday afternoon. I got mid 90s up and down the valley. Overnight lows in the 70s. Probably low 70s. And then look at that. 98 on Tuesday. I don't know if we're going to quite get that hot, but that wouldn't surprise me. Man, it's
Justin?
just going to turn into a scorcher.
I hear young plants in the field asking for mercy as we speak. This is not going to,
Yeah.
because I want you to think of it this way. If you walk out into your garden and you feel the heat reflected back off the black soils, that's the same thing that's happening in a field, just on a larger scale.
Yeah, I'm going to be watering my garden probably mornings and nights for a couple days next week.
I would do a good job of making sure everybody is well tendered, and you don't have to just turn on your sprinklers and water all the ground. You can be taking buckets and watering cans and just making sure you're keeping it very localized to those plants and doing a nice job. So there we go.
Well, that's going to do it for us here on Weather and Ag in Focus. Everyone have a great weekend. The Jay Thomas Show is next.
AM 970 and FM 93.1 WDAY.